Hello, good evening, welcome. I've been having some streaming problems, so I'm hoping this is still working. It is, but I believe there's a bit of a delay between Twitch and YouTube. No worries though. Welcome along again. Last week, I think it was Monday evening, I did something a bit different. I did some music. So I was going through the creation of the radio jingle and some of the lyrics and the music for the background music, but also be used in the shop itself. A bit different for me. Certainly the first time I've done kind of live audio stuff on a live stream, which came with a couple of other problems. I believe I cut off the last 2 minutes of the stream from YouTube because there was a huge delay between Twitch and YouTube, possibly caused by all the audio hardware. There must have been some kind of buffering going on at some point, so apologies for that at the end of the YouTube version of that. But it's there, live stream 30, music and lyrics it was called, so you can watch that back on YouTube. I think on Twitch they're getting stored so they can be watched back as well, but it's not as many people connected on Twitch, but I am very grateful for those who have followed on that side as well. So tonight the plan is, what is the plan? A couple of different things. I've got the custodians of carpet, the old fellas who are hiding behind carpet sample masks, of course. That happens kind of in the final bit of the game. So I've got some of them to design, and then I've got the puzzle slash cutscene bit that leads to that final scene as well. I'm not going to get all of those things done tonight, but I hope at least to talk a little bit about the puzzle, some decisions I've got to make which might be useful to those other people making their own games, about how to streamline the animation and stuff that needs done for that cutscene. And going back to, I think, 2 weeks ago, if all else fails and I'm not feeling it with either of those two activities this evening, then I've obviously got this big bug list that is continuing to grow. But I think I will focus on these kind of final scenes because it's something a little bit different, going back to the rooftop of Funky Monkeys for those who have been following the other 30 streams now. So let's dive into my screen share. I think it's still set up correctly. Yep, I don't need my side camera on. I had another camera on with keyboard and things in livestream 30. Where are we in the big grand scheme of things? We're down in I'd say we're down in Act 3. That doesn't mean to say that Act 1 and Act 2 are complete, but they are coming together quite nicely. There's just a lot of bug testing, a lot of stuff to do in Act 1. And as I said earlier on, that is now building into this bug list. I talked a little bit about this in stream 29, I think, about just having a central place to log bugs, which scene they're happening, how severe they are, when it happens within the story, what the issue is, how I'm going to resolve it, and whether I've started to progress that or whether it's done or not started. And then those who kindly offered out of the YouTube community, at some point I'll be asking for beta testers and probably send out an Act 1 build for people to test Act 1. Which I'll be incredibly grateful for, and I'll send a very similar sheet where you won't have to write how to fix it. Don't worry about that. If you tell me where the problems are so I can try and work out and bug test and fix things before heading to a release. I've also, I've kind of got the quandary that a lot of indie solo devs have as well. Do I think about a Kickstarter? Do I perhaps create a demo which is just the first act or part of Act 1, and do I go to a Kickstarter type release where I try and gain a bit of traction through the subscribers that I've got on this channel and on Twitch as well, and try and build a audience there on Kickstarter, raise a little bit of revenue to perhaps pay for some more music, maybe some voiceover and things like that. And maybe for me to spend a bit more of my time on this, which is all in the back of my mind, should I do that? I'm not sure the best way to continue with that, but I do know that at the very least I want to try and get a demo together, and that will serve two purposes. First of all, there'll be something playable that if people are going to buy the game, then it'd be nice to be able to provide a small demo so people get a sense of the humour, the style, and whether it's right for them. I think it's kind of good to do that. I love it when especially indies give away a small demo so you can kind of see what you think before you buy it. But also it'll help me to create trailers and that kind of thing, because for Steam you definitely need at least 2 video trailers, and I could capture bits of footage out of Unity and things, but I think it'd be nice to get a demo together. So these are all things that are probably going to come along in slightly later streams, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm thinking of making like a devlog for round about the halfway point. It feels like I'm kind of approaching the halfway point, I hope. But as always, there's always a lot more than you expect. This project, as they all do, ends up growing arms and legs, and the scope creeps as you go through. This was definitely a much smaller diagram originally of all of the scenes that I thought I needed to do, and I have added quite a few of the scenes since, and more items, not so much customers and characters and things like that, but certainly the scenes have expanded a bit to flesh things out. So what I'm going to concentrate on tonight is the end of Act 3. So we've been on other live streams doing this coat hanger, dumpster key, monkey head, car jack puzzle that led to you pulling down the ladder at the side of the Funky Monkeys soft play area and ending up on the roof. So this is the bit that kind of leads you to the last scene, where Clive is on the roof, and we have to, or I have to get through setting things up so that ultimately he can end up falling through this skylight. Oh, good evening, X-Purple. Yeah, the one I was making music, nice to see you again. Yeah, it was done on a strange day. I couldn't do it on the Sunday evening. I had loads of problems trying to get the audio set up, but it is there on YouTube, and I think on Twitch they're getting stored, so you can go back and look at them. I'm not sure what they call it, like the watch again type thing. But yeah, if you head across to YouTube, X-Purple is on their public live streams playlist, and it's yeah, live stream 30 if you want to have a look at some of the music stuff. It was recorded. So there's a couple of things that I need to think about here. Once you've got up this ladder and you're on the roof, ultimately we want people to have a look around, have a look at some of the things, the city. There'll be all the usual hotspots to click on. But the end of this scene is Clive trying to look over into one of these skylights, and I haven't decided which one yet, because there's people in there talking, which is kind of what he expects. He's found a flyer where this mysterious organisation are meeting at this soft play area in the middle of the night, and the puzzle, not so much puzzle chain, but the series of events that leads him to falling into here is you kind of listen at the air vent and you can hear people talking. He looks over at the skylight and you can see some people, and then he tries to get a closer look, and in leaning over or tripping over or something, he ends up falling through one of these skylights. I think rather than it all smashing and us having glass come through, which is an option, it might be a bit more exciting doing that. I'm trying to decide whether as he walks towards it to look, he maybe trips on like a little edge of the roof and falls straight through it, or whether like he's facing the other way, like this version of him is, and he kind of leans forward to get a better look and then tips forward and falls in. So whichever one of these I choose to do, it's going to involve quite a bit of animation, like custom stuff for him to fall through here. I did think about having these windows as those kind of like center hinged ones that spin, so then he could fall in and it spins over, and that might be less, I guess, dangerous, but it might be equally as funny for him just to go smashing through it. And then where he ends up landing, you might have seen this on some of the other ones, he falls into this ball pool, so it could be shower of glass followed by Clive into this ball pool. It could be that the window just spins and he drops in. And there are some characters in this ball pool, this mysterious organisation holding a secret meeting in a kids' play area in the middle of the night, that are, this is one of the characters. They're all wearing carpet samples with eye holes cut in because they're very strange, and then they kind of reveal themselves, they pull the carpet samples off their head, and it's one of the guys you've spoke to earlier in the story who tricked you into getting access to the basement. So this one guy, who's got his own talking animations and things already because he appears earlier in the game holding a goldfish in a bowl, which turns out not to be a goldfish as well. If you're on one of the earlier live streams, that is mentioned in that. So I've got a few different characters to design, so I think I'm going to start there tonight. I'm hoping I'm going to reuse just this same bit of animation and replace the faces, so they can all like in turn reveal themselves. But given the amount of space and kind of screen real estate I've got here, they're going to be standing kind of waist deep in the ball pool, which is why I've not drawn his legs or anything. It's just down to here. I'll probably have to put some of the coloured balls around their waist so it maybe moves a little bit, but I'll think about that later on. So I kind of want at least 3 of them, like the Holy Trinity, like Barnsley, Tyne Weir and Brighton or something of the carpet cult in various parts of England. So they're going to either all be facing forwards like that character. So let me just take a little grab at that and paste it into the soft play. Create a new scene. So these will be scaled in Unity because he's too small there, obviously. So they'll end up being probably about maybe that big, something like that. But by having them scaled in Unity, they're not going to, the pixelation's not going to mess up. And they'll all be animated in Unity, not in, animated in Sprite, imported into Unity as part of the scene. But I'm just starting to think now about the amount of space that's going to be needed. So if I just duplicate that guy, for example, do we have like 3 of them positioned like this? So they're kind of in the scene. They'll be behind that foreground bit as well. I might need to move some of these black overlay bits as some like fake trees and things. It's like a jungle themed soft play area. I'm just wondering whether we have all 3 of them lined up like that and kind of Clive lands down here somewhere. There is something that comes down the slide as well midway through this conversation, and I think that looks it's kind of reminiscent, if those of you remember in Monkey Island, the fruit head people. That is kind of the feel. It's a bit weird, they're strange people. I just wondered whether one of them should be facing right or not, but then it would mean me obviously animating that like the carpet reveal and things from the side. And then I also haven't quite decided whether Clive will speak to them with his back to the camera or whether he will be facing left. So these are all things that I need to decide what it's gonna look like, how it's gonna be positioned, before I set about setting all that scene up. So if Clive is like facing the other way, let's just open up Clive left, Clive talk left. So when he comes in, if I just grab him from waist height, like that, paste him into the soft play, the new layer. Again, he'll be bigger than that when he comes into the Unity scene. I think something like this kind of positioning is what I'll end up going for. So he sits, he like lands down here, splashes down in front of the slide. And then when this item that I'm keeping under wraps for the time being comes down the slide, it kind of lands in front of them. So that, I think, is probably, just before the stream I started thinking, oh, this is something I'm going to have to kind of decide on tonight, especially if I'm going to animate these other guys' faces. Do I need to draw them from the side? But I think that, like, as a composition, looks pretty good. It gives us plenty of space because there's going to be a bit of dialogue. Obviously there's quite a lot of explaining to do, like what the hell's going on, these three guys in carpet masks and everything that Clive finds underneath the shop and all that kind of thing. This is kind of the crescendo of the game, where you've got some decisions to make at the end. So I think that looks good. I think you get more comedy from they'll reveal one at a time, and these two guys, I think, are people you don't recognise, and then this guy, effectively the leader, if you like, is the one that you'll recognise, and it's like, oh, it's you. So I think that's quite a nice layout. I think Clive will sit quite nicely there, and then it gives us this space in the middle for the thing to land that comes down the slide as well. So that looks good. Quite happy with that. So I think I can get on and design these other two fellas from front view, I think. The other thing, the rooftop, I'm not sure, but I think my preference is not to have Clive facing away from the camera, and actually maybe in a cutscene I've got to think about the fact that these are going to have hotspots on them, because naturally they're, like, in the actual scene they're glowing. So just open that scene up. Top, there we go. So in the actual playable scene, click play on that. They're kind of glowing, these lights. So they've got skylight things, a fire escape, there's a ventilation unit, there's the city in the background. So all of these need actions setting up. I think a player will probably want to look in the skylights straight away because they're such a big bright thing, and you've kind of been able to see them from other scenes as well. So if they click that, my thought is that he'll look in there and maybe there isn't anyone there. He says, oh, I can see a ball pool, but there's nobody in there. And then when you click on the ventilation unit, he says, oh, I can hear voices, and it sounds like they're climbing in the ball pool. And then I can turn that into a cutscene. So then he says, I need to go and take a closer look, and then probably automatically walks across here so I can control exactly where he is when he trips. And I think if I just that's probably the simplest way to handle this cutscene bit. But what I want to make sure people have done is it's not gone straight to the ventilation unit, because I want them to get some dialogue from looking at the distant city, from maybe trying the fire escape and seeing that it's locked, and they're trying to work out how to get in. Look at the skylight, you could say it looks like pretty solid, it's locked. Maybe that is a good reason for him to smash through it, actually, that there's no way to get in the skylight. And then maybe when you've exhausted a few of these things, I then say he stops once you've looked at the fire escape, looked at this and looked at that. It then says, oh, it sounds like there's voices coming from the ventilation unit, and then he goes and looks. And then those kind of things are kind of helpful to staging the narrative, staging people getting more information from these other things, and them not just skipping all of that content that you've spent time writing. So that's probably how I'm going to set that up. Yeah, I've convinced myself of that. That's like what I'm doing, just talking through it and thinking, yeah, no, that's probably going to work okay. So let's start on these guys' faces, I think, and then we'll come back to setting up that scene if I've got time at the end. So in Fish Tank Guy, as he's called, this is that particular character. I think I needed to finish off. Yeah, I was animating this when I was away. I was over in Cumbria for Easter, so I wasn't on my machine here. I had my laptop with me and didn't actually finish this last bit of animation where he pushes it onto his head. It's kind of flat on his head at the back, so we've got a couple of other arm bits to do, but I think I'll maybe concentrate on getting the other characters' faces. So because I'm gonna be exporting them all from here. Let's do face 2, and we'll put another layer for face 3. And then we can just check that the design of the face that we're going to be doing works all right with that little mask that comes off the head. And then we'll just be able to export this animation a few different times and swap out, obviously, the clothes, I think is the right word for it, because they're not all going to be wearing exactly the same thing. So what... Maybe they are. Maybe it's kind of funnier for them all to have a full outfit, because I had considered having them all in like a full costume before. I'll think about that later. Let's do some faces. There is a bit of dialogue actually in that is written here in my plan, which I haven't completed yet. Oh, that's. Didn't see that, that's for later. Seen it now. But there's what appears to be a lady in the shop who's like quite big, like I guess a large framed lady. You might have seen her in this scene. And yeah, big broad shoulders, a little hat. I think I mentioned on one of the live streams, or somebody else was mentioning in the live stream chat, about it actually being one of the guys in drag. So I wonder whether we could incorporate that, or whether we just go with a similar face shape, because there's the potential for a phone call that was in that document there, where this person is contacted and says, oh, it was Masterstroke dressing up and coming into the shop. So this kind of face shape and things is maybe where we need to start from. So I'll come back into a sprite, and we will have somewhere in characters, customers, just called customer. So perhaps this is a starting point for this character. My intention is for them all to be men of a certain age, like balding, usually moustaches. I want kind of one of them with a beard or a moustache, but I'm still not sure whether that kind of is going to look right if this is the face that we're using. So what I'll do is just take the centre bit of that face, so it's about roughly the same size. The face layer, just copy that, bring it into here. Where did that go? Click paste, nothing happened. What's going on? Go back to there. It's underneath the mask, that's why. So, yeah, what I want to do is make sure that whatever their face shape is, it isn't too big for the mask, basically. So that it would kind of sit at a point where and the eyes probably need to be roughly in the same place, which is another pixel higher. So he's got like a chin strap Amish man's beard, that guy. So I'll put a little bit lower chin. Bring back to there. Right, delete that. So let's just remove the mask, hide the other face, and then just have a think about. Yeah, I'm not sure whether they should all be wearing these big jackets. I don't think so. I think I'm going to put them all in separate stuff, like a shirt and a tie or something like that. Or a tank top might be quite nice. So I think we're going to make this guy bald. We'll keep that kind of same colour for the eyebrows, and we'll maybe, we could have a bit of crazy grey hair sticking out the sides. He's not going to be wearing his earrings. He's not going to have hair down there, so how wide I want the face to be, and his lips certainly don't need to be pink anymore. Try to even that up. Yeah, it looks all right. I'm just looking up on the other screen where it's a bit smaller on the other screen. Sometimes good just to zoom them out and see if they're working. I don't know whether that there looks a little bit of like a Chaplin or Hitler-esque moustache there. Maybe a big handlebar moustache or something like that. That's kind of, and this is the other thing as well. I want them to be like quite different from each other, so they're all different characters. That's kind of definitely got a different face shape. It's one of the things I'm not sure with Air Sprite. Maybe somebody knows the answer. There's this little icon here, which in my mind, if you put it on, then this frame, you should be able to extend it. But I think when I do it, when you see it says duplicate linked cell, and it puts a link between them, but if you drag that cell, oh yeah, see, it leaves like a little line. But what seems to happen is, so it just disappears, the head. And I would expect, you can see there, it's got this line there, that it would just be there for every frame, so you don't have to copy it onto every frame. Flash used to do it, and it was actually really helpful. It's kind of like this frame doesn't need an individual frame generating for each of it. I just want it to kind of be an instance that goes across multiple frames, and that meant then if you made an edit to this, like you were on this frame of the animation, you're like, oh, actually, his moustache is going to be blocked by something, and then you would edit that particular frame, then all of those frames that were linked would get edited. But I get this weird thing where it doesn't seem to like react in the way I would expect it. If I select this, you see that little grey line, and I select that and you see the little grey line, but any frame in between, it's not there. So I don't really know what you're meant to do with that. and there they join up again. It looks like they're stuck together. If I do Alt and M there, no, is it Alt and M? Duplicate linked cells, and then you get like an unlink, and then it goes. Yeah, I've no idea why. Can you just drag it? It doesn't make any sense to me, but it would be quite helpful in this regard. Is there like a cell properties? No, you can't say how long it's linked for. Let's have a look to the internet. Sprite linked cells. Oh, I've already clicked it. Look, it's purple. Linked cells in Sprite, connected instances of frame. That's exactly what I thought they were. We're editing one cell automatically. Yep, that's perfect. So why? That's exactly what I expected it to do. Propagation of changes when you edit one linked cell, every cell. So link cells by selecting right-clicking timeline and choosing linked. Can link cells by selecting them. Right-clicking the timeline and choosing link cells. Continuous, oh that's different. Enabling the continuous icon that all new copies of cells are created as linked cells automatically. That still doesn't explain why they disappear when you go to a different frame. Yeah. Unlinked cell will contain their own copies, so now you can modify. To create linked cells, you have to copy cells in a continuous layer. So delete that cell. I'm learning. This is a continuous layer, so if I copy that cell and I paste it over there, it does give you that line, but it doesn't display, which kind of, in my mind, defeats the object of linking them. Because I don't want to copy it to every frame. I mean, that seems ludicrous. So they're definitely all linked. So if I change, say I put a spot in the middle of his head, yeah, that does stay for every frame. But then you have to independently copy them on there. It seems really strange. Anyway, that's done it, but it seems like a really weird way about doing it. I mean, that massive moustache is kind of funny, isn't it? Could we handlebar it a bit more? I think his mouth needs to be lower, actually. It's because that moustache is going to move if he talks. Does it need a shadow under it? Not sure what looks funnier. And is that going to rest on top of his head? Yeah, I think what I need to do is the back of the mask. Just needs to be a bit darker inside there. So on the mask layer, just unlock that. Just going to go a little bit darker, just to fill in these pixels. So regardless of which character it's revealing, it just covers the top of the head a little bit better. Okay. That's still fine for him, isn't it? Yeah, makes his head look a funny shape, but close. Oh, good evening, Mike. What happens if you switch back to the double dot button after making the link? I think they're probably then all independent again. Let's put, oh, turn him off, turn him on. Put a dot on his head. No. Who knows? It seems to be a law unto itself, because they're now not continuous. but it made no difference because that dot in the middle of his head, yeah, I don't know. I'll maybe have to go and find another YouTuber who specialises in Sprite and try and work out how you're meant to do that. I mean, it wasn't a massive pain, but it seems daft. You've got to like literally go copy, paste, 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 paste to make it visible and continuous. Unless it's just a bug with Sprite. I don't know if there's maybe a new version, but I'm not going to do that in the middle of a live stream, update Sprite and then suddenly have some kind of problem. So this guy with a comedy moustache, I think that looks all right. He obviously can't be the guy, the person who is in drag, because how would he have got rid of his moustache? But I just don't think he's got enough, he's not characterful enough without it. It doesn't kind of look, it doesn't fit the kind of guy that I want to be part of this weird thing. They've all got to be strange guys. Put him with massive eyebrows as well, couldn't we? He looks a bit Wario now. Maybe not. I think we'll go with him like that for now. Okay. And then I'm just wondering about skin tone and race, whether I should have someone. There's something, I think the carpet shop guys I'm thinking of, which were part of the reason for coming up with this silly idea in the first place. There's a particular type of like middle-aged white guy that work in carpet shops. It seems to be my, and it's similar to like the car salesman people. So I'm kind of not purposefully whitewashing the characters in this particular game, but I think that they're all, there's a certain type of middle-aged white guy who works there, who is really into carpet, and that's what this group of people are. So the balding, the moustache, the weird beard, all of these like fit quite nicely, but I'm just wondering if one of them I might actually do like almost grey, like a grey man, rather than so pink and healthy looking. So let's, like the third face, let's stick that in there. If you copy, oh, here's a thing, if I copy a continuous frame to there, and then copy and paste that to there, you do get that link. And it must just be on that layer, just fill in all those blanks again. Yeah, that's quite a nice idea, purple there, that, like just make him look a bit older, like a, and I kind of did have the idea that like one of these three gentlemen is kind of even more extreme or even more like losing his marbles than the others, and then they all go like, no Dave, it's not like that, and they kind of talk to him like, shut up, and try and silence him because he's like a little bit more, I guess, further down the road of insanity, I guess, the correct terminology for it. But yeah, I think maybe, as you said, purple, just having that him a bit greyer, a bit older, and a bit crazier. So maybe we, he could even have like really crazy hair that's kind of coming out at all angles, a bit kind of Einstein-y stroke Doc from Back to the Future. I mean, with so few pixels to play with, it's sometimes difficult to give like a totally different character from so few pixels. He could have a crazy chin beard, couldn't he? Oh, that's gone weird. Let's see, my mouse pointer's just rolled over. Oh, yeah, it doesn't refresh the little thumbnails. That's one of the other things that's maybe going wrong, is I have had a couple of like graphics update issues with Sprite where you've probably seen it on streams where I paste something in, it doesn't appear here. And I think it's the mode I've got this on, which has got little thumbnails. So if you turn that off, you see these like linked layers look different. And I wonder if that's maybe something that's been causing an issue. Oh, I was thinking, what's happened there? His hands have gone see-through, but I've got the onion skin on. I'm just so used to seeing it with the little thumbnails on. It's kind of useful, the thumbnails as well, because you can make them massive as well. It's overlay size. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, so perhaps this guy's got a much bigger nose, maybe. I could even do him grey, but with like a pink nose, like he's maybe drinks a bit too much. A couple of wrinkles, as purple suggested, on his head. That he just looks a little bit more wild, like the idea of one of them being like a little bit off the rails, like the extremist within the carpet organisation. Can't get away with that, can we? Let's... No, perhaps a little chin beard. Yes, he has got that mad scientist look, which I kind of like. I think that he's like one of the old guard of the carpet shop. I don't know if he would have a soul patch though, would he? Looks a bit too crazy there. What about a little goatee? Now he's starting to look like that looks all right, I think. We'll fill the edges of that in. Let's just hide his body. Yeah, so what we might do then is desaturate his face. So there are tools for that in here. So adjustments, hue and saturation, and just desaturate him so he's kind of grey. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Looks a bit greyer and older. Bags under the eyes, yeah, possibly. Let's have a look at that. Oh, now we've gone to grey. Whether he... Yeah, I mean, isn't it bizarre? Like, you've just suggested that perfectly. You look at that, and that gives you a sense of his age and his craziness. But then as soon as you put the little bags under his eyes, it suddenly looks a little bit darker, a little bit more evil. Yeah, I think I quite like that. And we'll maybe just give him some little highlight. So just a little bit brighter bits through his hair, which I think might just make it look a little bit like messier as well. Like there's some texture to his hair. Old guys have big ears as well, don't they? That's one thing that happens as you get much older. I want a bit white there. Checkerboard. It's starting to look a little bit like Rick from Rick and Morty as well. Thankfully he's got quite small eyes. So maybe we make his ears really big. What have we done there? Oh, it's because I can see the face. It's like, why is it going pink? I'm trying to delete that. Anything that makes him look strange, I think, is kind of helpful. Yeah, he looks a bit weird now, doesn't he? I'll maybe have to take one of those off there. I wonder if it'd be funnier with big wide eyes, actually. Yes, I think I might have him with really wide eyes like that. I just wonder if he could maybe have one eye that's twitching all the time. Something that just sets him apart as a little bit unhinged. I think I quite like them connected, the eyebrows like that. I think that looks all right. Yes, it is, isn't it? Purple, yeah. Like 1 pixel difference. It just completely changes the way he looks. He started to look there when I raised his eyebrows up. I've forgotten the name of the actor who, or in my mind, he started to look like him. He's out of Game of Thrones and he plays like the priest. He's in loads of different stuff, but I can't remember his name now. But yeah, he started to look a little bit like him, especially now I've made his eyes wider. But I think he's certainly characterful enough. The only issue I've got now, of course, is that, and this might be funny, the mask, and like you can see these bits of hair coming out the sides of the mask, which I think is kind of funny. So when he gets revealed, yeah, we could have the hair spring out, couldn't we? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're going to reveal themselves fairly quickly. I think there'll be a bit of talking where the mask just moves up and down when they're chatting, and then they reveal who they are. Right. So I think we've got our three characters. We've got crazy guy. I don't know, kind of Italian gangster looking guy, and then the weird guy who we meet in the shop in the first instance. Right, yeah, no, they look good. I like them. Happy with them. So, maybe we make this guy slightly different skin tone as well. So let's just adjustments, heat, saturation. Oh, I've got 2 layers showing. I'll cancel that. Give him slightly more like olive, darker skin. Not that olive. Very like super sensitive. Okay. So I'll just give them some distinction between their faces. Yeah, and then they look like they're kind of 3 different ages. That guy's maybe not as old as he needs to be. We'll maybe just dot a little bit of greying hair. I know it's kind of grey as hair here, but I think we just need to give it a little bit more grey. Yeah, Just a little extra detail there. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I'm so tempted to have like one of his eyes twitching, that guy, but that would be even more animation. So this is for their reveals. I think they're going to need their own talks and things like that, so I will split them out of this file. I shouldn't really call this fish tank guy anymore, to be honest, because it's got all of his talking animations at the start of it. And his idle ones where he looks shifty, like left and right in the shot. But yeah, his talk is quite nice in there. So I'm probably going to, this reveal I'll leave in here, and then I'm going to generate a separate one for each of these characters. We're going to need some names for the characters, so there's something to throw open to the chat or in comments on YouTube afterwards. I can think of some names for these three. I think at one point I might have, in that little bit there, Albert. I did call one of them Albert, but that's not necessarily, doesn't have to stick. I mean, that would work with that guy, wouldn't it, Albert? Yeah, so all three of them need some names. So if people want to suggest 3 comedy names for these 3 aging carpet shop enthusiasts, then please do stick that in the comments, and then next week I'll go through some of them and we'll decide which ones. I'll maybe stick them all on a poll. So yeah, stick them in comments on YouTube, and I'll stick a poll together, a community poll, and see what people think. Yes, I mean, the main character is called Clive for that exact reason. Reginald's great. I like Reginald. Reg. Graham. Yeah. Yeah, no, stick them down. If you don't mind, Purple, I know you're on Twitch, but if you stick them on the YouTube channel, and then I can pull a poll together from all of those as well. If you've got access to YouTube, that'd be great. And any others that you come up with. But yeah, they're the right kind of feel. You've got it right there. So clothes, I guess, is the next thing. This kind of big fur-lined jacket with the medallion or whatever is definitely part of this guy's like get up, because he's wearing sandals as well. He's a bit strange. We're only going to see him from waist up here when they're in the ball pool, so they're going to need some other clothing. So let's take them one at a time. Let's take this guy. I wonder whether this guy is wearing a shirt and tie. He looks a bit more serious. And then maybe the older guy has got like a tank top on, like a woolen tank top and a tie. I think even though these are retired, these are men who've retired from the cut and thrust of the world of flooring, they would still wear a tie. They're the kind of guys who would put a tie on every morning. So definitely tank top for him, I think. Probably shirt and tie, unless anyone can think of anything amusing to put on there. So let's create these on here. Let's call this tank top. Oh, good evening there, Chris. And it doesn't matter if you're late, that's fine. You can always watch these back. I keep on forgetting as well that we obviously changed the clocks here in England when we get to summertime, so we get more light in the evenings. I think it originally is something to do with farmers needing more light in the mornings. I can't remember. But ultimately we do British summertime, so that's why when I started the streaming, and well, it's still like light outside, I had to draw me blinds. So it kind of effectively for Europe sets us an hour back. It would have been, would it been 8:30? I can't remember. You can tell that like at my ripe old age, I still haven't worked out how British summertime works, but ultimately it's an hour different from what it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. So tank top is definitely going to be one of them, and that's going to go with face 3. Oh, you do the same in Sweden as well, do you? Right. Yeah, yeah, I wasn't sure if it is British summertime is just a British thing. So what's the reason in Sweden then? Because I've obviously got to this age of, how old am I? Oh, 47, and still don't fully understand why we do it. I remember at school being told it was something to do with giving more working daylight hours to certain trades that need daylight to work, but it's something that's stuck. So the tank top's going with 3. What are we going to do for this guy? I think it's going to be a shirt. Not shit, shirt. And then, of course, the arms will have to be changed for them as well. So we're going to end up with a few different sets of things. Oh, save energy and use the daylight. All right, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I suppose, yeah, you're not, it's not dark as long, so you use less electricity. Yeah, well, there you go. Learn something new every stream. Let's do the shirt. It's going to be a short-sleeved shirt. Yeah, a short-sleeved shirt, a long-sleeved shirt with a tank top. Oh, I could have it in a vest, couldn't I? That'd be equally as mad. No, let's just do a shirt. So I'm going to just get the outline, a rough outline from this one. Thinking about it, Clive is in like a light bluish shirt. This is just what I set up earlier on for those who've joined a little bit later. Like, this is what we're working on, the 3 different guys in the Ballpool when Clive falls in. So this, again, we want just some nice colour differences between them. Guy in the brown jacket, that's fine. Like a tank top that is perhaps green. There's not a lot of green in this scene, so that might stand out. And then maybe just a white shirt. Let's just start pulling something together. Yeah, I wish it was a Les Paul, Chris. It is a Rockwood Les Paul copy. Yes, it's a nice guitar nonetheless, but it wasn't the price of an actual Les Paul. Yeah, the amount that I play it, which is slim, it's a good job I didn't spend Les Paul money on it. But yeah, it is a nice guitar. I didn't use it actually in the live stream. So the last live stream, 30, I had some issues when I was streaming it, and there was a big delay between the Twitch and the YouTube one. I accidentally cut off the end of it. But yeah, I played a bit of the acoustic guitar that's on that wall out of shot in writing the jingle for the shop. So if you haven't had a watch of a live stream 30 called Music and Lyrics, I go through the lyrics of these comedy jingles in the shop and writing a bit of a jingle, which I still haven't decided whether I'm going to use that, whether I'm going to make a retro kind of 8-bitty version of that. Still haven't totally decided on how it's going to sound yet, but I will get back to that on another stream at some point, because it went reasonably well considering I couldn't get any of the audio out of my door the other day, but it seemed to work. So let's get this shirt done. Maybe like a collar there. Similar kind of. So it's cutting off there because that is where the arms layer is. Oops, I'm going to hold shift there. So even though you can't see it, we need to get this shirt down to about there. And again, I'm not sure whether trousers, I might just put him in, because you're going to see a few pixels worth of the trousers because they're kind of up to waist height in the Ballpool. Same with this guy's legs. Like that layer, and even the length of his jacket is not going to end up included in that. So I don't need to worry too much about that. Oh, you got a Les Paul. Very nice. Yes, no, I can imagine you feel the difference between a proper Les Paul and one of them that was a couple £100. That's really old as well. That's got to be, oh God, maybe 22 years old, something like that. I've got that a long time. In fact, it was my brother's. It was my older brother's. And he just didn't play it so much. So I inherited it a while ago, probably about 15 years ago, and it's just stayed around here, which is nice. Right, this shirt then, let's fill that in. Brilliant, we filled the entire, why is that? The arms. Oh, because I haven't actually sealed the neck. So we need to go a little bit brighter, something like that. Would it be funny to put a dicky bow on him? Because that's the kind of thing a man of a certain age might do. I think my dad wear a dicky bow, only usually at Christmas though. Would a dicky bow be funny? Can we accurately represent a dicky bow with this few pixels? I don't know if we can. No, it looks weird. Yeah, I don't think we've got the pixel density to do that, unfortunately. So work with what we've got. Maybe just got a tie on. Shame dicky bow doesn't work. Might be quite funny. Tie's going to go all the way up there actually. Right, these arms are, I haven't finished animating the full one. It's just looking at his shoulders are different actually, aren't they? We've got a weird offset and I can't see where it is. There's 1 pixel there, 2 there. It steps out 2, it only steps out 1 there. Oh, that's why. That. Right, okay. So, I wonder if we can add some detail to his tie. A stripy tie is a sign of madness, isn't it? Yeah, that looks kind of crazy. Suits, I think. Yeah, let's leave it like that. Looks all right. So the tank top guy. I mean, to be honest, we can start with that shirt. Duplicate that shirt. wonder if we could do two really garish colours. We could have him in like a bright pink shirt with a green tank top over it, or a green shirt with a tank top, a pink tank top. Got to think about what background he's going to be on, because he's going to be sat in there. It's a bit dull, this one. It's not really vibrant, the colour. I know there's a lot of colours going on in it, but that's purposeful for, well, that's what soft play areas are like. But it's at night, and they're kind of there, like you're not sure whether they've broken in or whether, and I think actually I have written a bit of dialogue which is to do with why they like meeting in the soft play area, and it's because it's fully carpeted. So like every surface is carpeted and it makes them feel at ease, and they're barefoot in the ball pool because it's carpeted under the balls. And I think the phrase carpeted under the balls is also very funny because I'm a child. But all of those things are part of the why are they in the soft play area, and it's because they were each independently, or one of them was responsible for supplying the carpet to Funky Monkeys, the national chain of Funky Monkeys. So like one of them's like an insider, I suppose, is that kind of thing. So lots of strange goings on. But that tank top guy, he's going to be, I think this is going to be the main guy, closest to Clive. So if tank top guy's this one, then he's going to be on this background. So I've just got to think about how that looks, really. So whilst I'm kind of thinking, if anyone knows who Michael Portillo is, he's a ex-Conservative MP in the UK who now does programmes about trains and things, and he's very well spoken, and he's a bit avant-garde with his clothing. He'll often wear a brightly coloured shirt or brightly coloured trousers, pink trousers and things like that. So I'm thinking that type of character. So if we were to do him with a pink shirt, pink is not something we've kind of used in our general palette, but it would definitely make this guy stand out. That's too pink, isn't it? It would have to be like a baby pink, I think, if it was gonna work. Let's try this out. So let's add that baby pink, and then a slightly darker baby pink, which would be, don't need to do that. You can do replace color, can't you? You can go edit, replace color, replace that to, whoops, that, swaps them out. Like a halfway house as well. Actually, I don't like that collar for this guy. We're not going to have a collar, are we? We're going to put a tank top on him. So it'll just be a base of that kind of colour. His collar will obviously pop out of the tank top. So let me just create another layer over the top so I don't make a mess of all of that. I'm just trying to think where the line of the tank top would come down, because you want to be able to see a little bit of the like his armpit. And if it's kind of a knitted tank top as well, it's going to need some kind of pattern on it, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to like fill it in totally like that, because then it won't look like it's got that space for his arms. Because it is ultimately like a vest, isn't it? I'm not sure about the colours there at all. Oops. Certainly not sure about that. Yeah, it's a tricky one getting the shape of that. Let's have a look. Let's just do a quick image search for old man in tank top. See, this is the difference between Americans and the UK. A tank top in. I remember having a conversation with a guy, a friend of my wife's. She used to live in Japan and teach English, and there's a Californian guy. And when I said tank top to him, that's what he thought I meant, like a vest. But a tank top is a very different thing. This is a tank top in the UK. People on the stream have been going, "What are you on about?" This is like old man. That's perfect. Look, 1940s flare tank top. That's what I'm after. Just by putting UK in. No. See, it's still right. That's what I'm after. That's the kind of guy. You can see he's even got a grey beard. He would wear that. So an awful pattern on it. It's got a white shirt, but that's the kind of feel I'm going for. But you can see there's like a V-neck. You get these edges on it. It does actually cut in right under the arm, so maybe that's what I need to do. So I feel like the shape's right. Let's put a trim on it anyway. Let's, because there's really not, again, not a lot of pixels to play with here. So if we put a different trim around the outside. Yeah, that kind of thing. And then we can think about patterns. So maybe it does need to be kind of brown. I'm rethinking this pink shirt now because it looks a little bit too flamboyant, I think. The guy would probably be in a white shirt. So let's just strip all of the colour out of it. The problem is it kind of clashes with his beard and things. It does need some colour in it in order for it to work. I'm just going to put a bit of a stripe, and then I'm just going to cycle through some colours and see what kind of looks good. So I'm just trying to suggest one of them like bad patterns. It kind of looks like he's wearing a bra now. I think I just need to repeat that same pattern really, don't it? It's just marquee select that. A bit tighter. Copy that, paste it, slide it up there. And then flip it because I don't like the way it's lining up. Oh, that's done something very strange. What has that done? go back, undo, try again. Don't want all that green. I do find the marquee tool really tricky because you're dealing with single pixels. I always end up selecting too much. Right, copy, paste, no, press the wrong key, paste, and then I want to flip that, edit, transfer, edit. Why can't I see flip? There we go, flip horizontal. Oh. Yeah, I don't like these all lining up. That's all right, actually. Don't want it to look like a brick wall. Sorry, my fingers are all over the place here. I'm just hitting shortcut keys left, right, and centre, jumping about. Yeah, that kind of looks all right. So it's the colours that I've got problems with. I feel like they aren't right. So let's have a look at that photograph on Google again. Open in image in a new tab. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much detail there, but I like the kind of horrible combination of colours. Sorry if people think that that's lovely, by the way, but it isn't. So let's turn it to like a beigey colour, saturation down, much lighter. So let's start with that like beige feel. Although does that look now like he's like semi-naked? It maybe needs to be darker. And then could we we're really just going for like an awful combination of colours here that feel like a bad pattern. That's getting there, isn't it? I definitely think at the bottom here we need to give him like that, like the hem that you get on them. Keep my mouse straight. That kind of thing. Pure ref, is that Chris? I can recommend pure ref, then you can have your reference images as an overlay that stays directly in Airspray. All right, okay, I'll have a little look at that. Pure ref, I shall have a look after the stream. Cheers for the tip there. I mean, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Like, bad in a good way. As in, looks bad, which is what I'm going for. It's that pink shirt, though. This pink shirt needs to change. So let's... what can we do with him? A green shirt? Oh yeah, no, that's maybe working. It picks out the green in his tank top. Okay. Right, I think we're getting somewhere with that. That looks bizarre and crazy, which is what we're after. I think what we'll do though is take this dark green here and just put a bit of shading under there because the tank top's coming across there. Yeah. I think as well, we might even suggest like a little red tie under his beard there. So, because his head might move when we do his speech animations. Let's pop in a tie under there. Yeah, that's starting to look all right. I think we can flatten these two now. Maybe need a little bit of darkness under there, because it might reveal that when his head's moving up and down. So I try and include like a little bit extra so that we can move his head if we need to when he's talking. So as an example, so like that kind of thing, and then it doesn't reveal like a hole in his body or something like that. Okay, so happy with that, I think. Same with the guy, let's just check. Again, yeah, that type of thing. It looks fine. It would maybe be a darker bit of grey under there. Inside of his collar, maybe even darker than that actually. Yeah. He could do with some pens in his pocket, couldn't he? Like that kind of thing. A little selection of pens, like single pixel pens, it seems, because that's the budget we've got. I think it's enough though. It's a pink pen. Reconnect his head to his body. Yeah, no, I think it's all right. Not happy with that really dark grey there. Now come back to it. It needs to be just slightly darker. So I want to kind of cut these out and have a look at them in the scene, just to check to see how they're shaping up. Get a drink. I wonder if there's anything else I can add to his face that would give him some more character. No, let's leave it as it is for now. So we can merge these. No, that isn't what I wanted to do. Flatten those two. Again, merge. I would expect the two layers that you select to merge together, but you click flatten and that's the same thing. So tank top, shirt. So they're going to need their own sets of arms in this animation because the arms are the brown arms from the guy in the jacket. Oh, hang on, I've drawn on the wrong layer somewhere. Which layer have I drawn on? I do that all the time. I've drawn it on his face. So let's delete that. Turn off his face, turn off his shirt, turn on his shirt. Yeah, that's that. I need to see how that looks. I'm starting to think it isn't right, that bit, but all right. So they're all going to, I was just saying, they're all going to need their own versions of the arms with the correct colouring of their skin and the correct colouring of their particular clothing. But I think before I do any of that, I need to finish off those bits of animation. So let's flick back over to the guy that we're using. And let's finish the animation with his brown jacket arms, and then we can just swap them all out. So he gets to there, he's holding the mask at that point. So he pushes it up onto the top of his head. So his hands, I think I did another two. Yeah, so he needs at least one more where his hands are pushing it up. So let's copy that one. I think we might be able to get away with just moving the arms up. How does that sit over the shirt? There's the dogs. They're going out for their evening walk. It's about this time that they start barking on live streams. So there's quite a bit of shadow under his armpit, and then as it goes up, I guess there needs to be a bit less shadow under the armpit. That's the shirt in the background. Yeah, he's got kind of quite broad shoulders there that make him look like armpits. So I need, yeah, I don't want to mess about with the width of that, because that's used in his talk animations, the width of his shoulders when his arms drop down. So they kind of need to stay like that, even though they maybe look a little bit strange, but it'll happen so quickly, it doesn't matter. Push them up to there, so bump, bump, bump. And then I think on this one, they can start coming down again. Or they can come down asynchronously, because I think that's more realistic, like your stronger arm would continue pushing up. And then the other one would start its journey down. Something like that. Welcome, Every time someone new joins the stream, I struggle to pronounce her name. Astoraxa. Astworks. Right, there we go. Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Yes, this is just one of many bits of pixel art that is getting animated and drawn for this game. If you've not looked at the stream before, there is an awful lot of pixel art that is going into this. If that's the kind of thing that you're into, then yeah, subscribe and welcome along. There's lots more stuff on YouTube than there is on Twitch. I can see you joining from Twitch, but the game is about... Are you ready for this? It's about a strange conspiracy in a carpet shop. And I know that sounds weird, but it's a weird game. So it's a comedy, like point and click adventure game, basically, where a middle-aged white guy who works in a carpet shop finds out something disturbing is happening in this carpet shop, and uncovers a secret, and then finds out that there's some very strange people involved in sabotaging the sale of hard flooring because they long for the days of soft carpet. So it's totally ridiculous and good. I'm glad that sounds perfect. Yeah, it's a light-hearted, silly, mysterious point and click adventure game with quite a lot of, I'd say, a lot of different scenes and things that are right across these whole live streams. This is live stream 31. I've been doing this for about 7 months. The very first live stream, maybe 8 months now. The very first live stream, I'd literally drawn one background, and now we're at a point where we have a huge amount of the game done. I say we, it's me doing it solo. So yeah, there's all the plan for it. So the whole of Act 1, all the puzzles, whole of Act 2, all of that's done pretty much, just not bug tested yet. Act 3, and we're down in kind of, these are from other live streams, like some of the puzzle chains and things that are involved in getting to this point that's in Act 3, where we're working on some of the characters for one of the final scenes in the game, actually. And the original plan of there being this many scenes has been completely blown out the water, because that always happens with game dev stuff. There are more extra scenes than I expected there to be, but you can see in here in my scenes, these are now all the different scenes in the game, so quite a few more than I initially expected. But yeah, there's lots more to do. Probably about, I would say, halfway through the development, even though I've done all of the backgrounds now, all of the actual scene art is done. Most of the animation is done, apart from some set pieces, which I talked about at the start of this stream. There's an awful lot of bug testing to do. This is just the first bit of Act 1's bugs that all need sorting, severe ones, some of them that are game breaking, some of them are in progress, some of them haven't started yet, and I'm not far through testing. So there's quite a lot to do, but tonight I am working on this guy and the other guys who reveal themselves from behind their carpet sample masks, because they're so bizarre that they hide behind these carpet sample masks. So this is what he's just revealing there at the moment. I'm making some of the music for the game. Yeah, the previous live stream last week was the first one that I've done where I've shown some of the music production things. I'm still not sure, to be totally honest, about whether I'm going to do all the music. And I talk about that on that stream as well, because there's some fantastic like free music resources that I've used for other games in the past that have got some of the right style, like bossa nova, lounge, jazz type stuff. But yeah, I kind of thought, yeah, I can play a few instruments. I did some of that on the live stream, showing how I put together the jingle for the shop, because the shop's called Floor for You. So I wrote a daft jingle and adverts that play in the shop, like silly adverts, a bit like when you're on GTA and you hear adverts on the radio. So I've started some of the music, but I still haven't decided whether the kind of music I've got the skills to create suits this, or whether I go about writing some kind of more retro 8-bitty type stuff to suit the style of the game, but I'm not sure whether musically it suits the kind of comedy that I'm going for. So yeah, still not sure in answer to that. Not sure if I'm going to use the stuff that I was making on there. I'm going to let it sit on the shelf for a bit, come back to it with fresh ears as I've got a bit further through the game. But it's something I definitely want to sort out before I make a demo. So I'm at the point now where if there weren't a lot of bugs, you could kind of play through 3/4 of the game. It's all linked up and things. But I want to maybe put out a demo of the like half of the first act or something, and I would obviously want that to be really polished, and that means having the music, the sound effects. If I decide to go with speech, having that done, so it puts quite a lot of pressure on polish, even if it's just for that like demo act. So I'll have to make a decision on the music soon, I think, because I'm approaching wanting to get a demo pulled together. So we're just pushing that mask off his face. His arms are about to drop down by his sides. It probably will be going on Steam, in answer to you, Astro. I haven't set up the Steam page for it yet, but I intend on doing that soon. There's just obviously the small matter of the £100 Steam fee that you've got to pay. But I've got another game on Steam. I've got games on itch. I've got a game on the Meta Quest store as well. So I'm kind of not not new to paying to get games on various things. But yeah, I'm in that limbo at the moment. I was again just talking about this at the start of this stream about, do I, because I'm quite far through this, is it a good time to kickstart this, set up a Steam page, try and gather some wish lists, do what you're meant to do, I guess, as an indie developer, and get that community bit. I've got quite a few subscribers on YouTube. Build that audience, get a Steam page, open the wish lists, run a Kickstarter, all of that business stuff, all of that promotional stuff that I don't have a huge amount of time for. I'm kind of doing this for the love of it more than in the hope that it would make a lot of money. I just like making these games and like sharing the process with people, so other people who like these type of games might be inspired to make their own, because it ain't all that difficult with some of the tools that are out there. So yeah, I'm in that process of ordering what I'm going to do in terms of Steam or Kickstarter or itch or things like that. Have I heard of Steam keys? Yes, I have. I've not looked into it more recently, to be totally honest. The last time I put something on Steam was Polycity Stories, which again, if I just go Polycity Stories, Steam page for that. So this is one of my other games that is out there on Steam. This, yeah, we're going back 2 years ago now, 3 years ago, 2 and a bit years ago. This it was basically a big first act, which is there as early access. I have got partially through Act 2 of this as well, but I'm at the stage where I got really busy and couldn't continue doing that at the time. And I would like to go back to it because I really enjoyed the character I wrote there and the story. It was coming together really nicely. The whole story is written. I just didn't get around to finishing off like the other bits of it. So when I did that, there was Steam keys, and you could generate a way of paying for them differently that had different things. So, but it was all, I was using the Cinti asset packs and things for that, because again, I wanted this quite epic detective game and didn't have the time to model and animate all of these things as well. So it's I reuse a lot of those assets. There's custom assets in there as well, and lots of custom lighting, and I'm sure all these scenes are custom using the bits that Cinti create. So yeah, I will hopefully get this current game out there. But yeah, nail on the head there, Astro. That's yeah, it is. If you're relying on it for your entire income, it's a really, really risky job. And I enjoy it as a hobby, but I have really, really enjoyed this process of live streaming. I've never done this before, the live streaming elements. I'd never done pixel art before I started this game, or certainly not since on Deluxe Paint on an Amiga. So these were kind of new skills as well that I enjoy learning, and the whole live streaming thing is completely and utterly new to me. Didn't know anything about it, but watched loads of other people doing it and thought, oh, I've got webcams and things like that, I can work that out. And it's been really rewarding because I've had so much great feedback from the people who follow on Twitch and on YouTube on these live streams, where I'm thinking of names for things, thinking of jokes, thinking of, like we've just been doing now, characters, how they should look and what their faces should be like. And it's just brilliant having that sounding board and really nice ideas coming from the community. So it is a great hobby and a terrible job until you make it, or are lucky enough to make a fantastic game that people love and goes viral, and then you're like, oh, I can now make games for the rest of my life, which would be lovely, definitely. Right, what I need to do is quit blabbing and get these arms animated properly. I'm gonna save myself some time, I think, because the players are going to be so focused on the faces as the arms come down. I think we're just going to reverse these frames, to be honest. They can just come down much quicker. So from there down to there, down to there. Just copying a load of these in reverse order. And to be honest, their arms are going to go inside the ball pool. Because in this little mock-up bit that I did with 3 of the same characters, once I put their arms down by the side, they're going to be a bit lower. They're going to be like waist height, so their hands might be in the ball pool. But we just need to get these arms animated. I can delete that actually. How do you delete a tag? There you go, delete. So the mask's going to stay on the head for that. We've already discussed how weird these linked frames are. They're going to need to come across there. And this is just because I'm reusing this bit of animation for all 3 members of the custodians of carpet. I think we probably just need arms by the side as the last one. Because his arms are in that position because he was, of course, holding a goldfish bowl in an earlier scene when he's taking his goldfish for a walk. No, actually that tag, I've realised, was the tag that was meant to be across all of these. New tag. Talk only needs to go up to 10. I'm going to sort this out before I mess it up. So that tag only goes to 10, and then from 11 onwards, we need 1 more frame there. And that's going to be arms down by the side, I think. Let's just quickly put that in. Quite a lot of the arms on that layer, haven't I? Let's say they're going to be mostly under the, or just resting on top of the balls in the ball pool, so it's not too much of a worry, this one. It's not, although there is going to be some talking, so he might be doing some hand gesticulation. Certainly the main guy, the ringleader, if you like, the leader of the custodians of carpet, might have his arms thrashing about while he's talking. The sounds there to remind me, when I first started streaming, again, all part of the learning process, I was just cracking on, chatting away to myself, and hadn't realised that people had been putting things in the live stream chat because I didn't have a nice loud sound to remind me of it. Actually, I've just realised it's probably coming out really loud for you guys because from the audio one the other week, I've still got all the volumes turned up on my OBS for the desktop audio. So apologies if that bing is being super loud. Yeah, that might just be coming through my mic actually. Possibly. Could turn my Windows volume down, can't I? I'll do that. Should be quieter. Yeah, so that's the rough animation of the arms swinging down and back to his sides. And then we've obviously got to fill in the blanks on these different arms for the different outfits that these old guys are all wearing. So let's just fill in that. I'm filling them on the arm layer because I can then just change the colours of them all for the different outfits. And again, on this, because they're going to move so quickly in that when he puts them down by his sides, we don't have to be that accurate. I say that all the time, and people who are on the live stream quite a lot also know I end up being a bit of a perfectionist and going, oh, I should put an extra little shadow in there. And that's why this is taking so long. So I'm just going to make that a little bit wider because his arms are still bent. That might be helpful, that dark line, actually, when it comes to animating his arms for the talks. So if I made his shoulders extra wide, like that bit doesn't seem right to me, but it's on this layer. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, right, I'm happy with that motion. So we've then got the other characters, and what we're going to do is take these arms. Oh no, his feet are cut off. The full character is here. He's got sandals and stuff on normally. When he appears in one of the scenes in the shop, let's have a look. So shop floor in Act 2, I think. Scenes Act 2. Can't see it. Shop floor Act 2. He exists in this scene somewhere. There he is. So he comes into the shop and is talking to the main character in an attempt to divert Clive's attention away from something that's going on. Oh, so I'm triggering a different cutscene here. But yeah, you see him stood fully, so there's actually some bits of the dialogue there that are clues to him turning up later on. So part of the design of this character is specifically weird, and Clive comments on it at the time, and he's taking his goldfish for a walk, which is weird. And then lots of strange things start happening after he visits the shop. So when he then gets revealed later on, it should be obvious that it's that guy. And the only reason his legs have been cut off is just because I've turned off the layers for these ones. I don't need to animate them. So let's take it from there, stick a new tag, remove mask, and that runs, where does it run to? 22. 11 to 22. All right, yeah. I had a prosthetic leg. I mean, that would be funny as well. Like a rolled up bit of carpet as a leg. They're strange guys. There's a strange conversation. The one with the handlebar moustache reminds you of Jesse Venture. Who's Jesse? Let's have a look at this. So I appreciate as well, some people are sending messages via Twitch onto the chat stream. I have got like a restream thing that I could put up the chat, but there's not a lot of screen space for pixel work, so having live chat on screen as well is a bit tricky. But Mike from YouTube there, the one with the handlebar moustache, reminds him of Jesse Ventura. Let's have a look at this. Who is Jesse Ventura? Yes, I do. Yeah. The handlebar moustache guy reminds you of him. I would say the grey-haired guy looks a bit like him, but yeah. Right. Well, they're definitely. I'm quite happy with how characterful and silly they look. That's the main thing for me. Of the Predator movie, right? So not Jesse Ventura that I've just looked up. From Predator. Oh, right, yes. No, I've got you now. All right. Is that how he is now? All right. Now it suddenly clicks. God, I say I recognised him as you older. That's that Chris on YouTube. Looks like Richard O'Brien, the guy with the fish. Oh, he does, yes, from the Crystal Maze. Yes, he does look a bit like him as well. We've got to get some names for these, by the way. So Twitch, YouTube, I would prefer on the YouTube comments, but by all means stick it on Twitch. Names for these three guys. This is the grey-haired guy who is going to be in tank top. Turn his arms off. So there's the grey-haired crazy guy, wild look in his eye, bit mad, a little bit of a carpet extremist. Jesse Ventura with his pocket protector and his stripy tie, and the strange man. We might have given him a name earlier. I'm not quite sure if we have in the story. Don't think we have actually. He might refer to his surname at some point when he's talking in the dialogue tree. I'm not sure. I've just noticed the time. It is nearly 9:30. Right, I didn't get very far, did I? Let's try and get these arms duplicated then. So his all look fine. I don't know if you heard that. That was my stomach that just went. Weird. Here's all these heads need to move across one. So we're going to need a set of arms for all of them. So we'll duplicate that whole arms thing. So this is arms for person number 2 and arms for person number 3. So we're going to turn off arms 2, turn off arms 1. All these in the wrong order. Nigel, Norman, good suggestions. I'm going to collect them all up. If you can stick the names on the comments on the YouTube video. So these go out live on Twitch and YouTube. It actually streams to Twitch, and then that's why there's a bit of delay, because it then gets pushed to YouTube via OBS. The majority of my followers are on YouTube, to be honest. So if you can put a comment on the YouTube one once it goes live, it'll be 15 minutes after the end of the live stream. It'll go up there into my live streams playlist. If you can stick a comment on the video of a few cool names for these weird guys, I'll then run a poll on the YouTube community thing and see, get some votes in on what names you think are the best, and then yeah, they'll go into the game. But yes, I'm liking the Nigels, the Normans. What do we have earlier on? Just scrolling back up, we had a couple of good ones. Reginald and Graham came from X-Purple on Twitch, so both good. Yeah, and Clive, the main character's called Clive, so Clive's taken, unfortunately. Unless it would be funny to have another Clive. I'll have a think about that. But yeah, stick some suggestions on the YouTube comments. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can stick them on the YouTube chat, and that will be kept for me to look at. So, right. So this is tank top is for person 3. The shirt is for person 2. I'm going to rename that to jacket, and that's for person 1. Let me just try to get the naming conventions right. Can you colour? You can't colour layers, can you? Of course you can. I always colour layers. This is just going to be easier. So we'll have guy. Oh, I pressed enter and it's now playing it through. So his stuff's going to be in orange. These are just so I can quickly see them. Stop that playing. And it's literally just colouring the layers. The tank top guy, we'll put him as green because the tank top's green, and remind me. And the shirt guy we'll put as grey. Same with their faces. This will just help when I come to toggle them all on and off and things when I'm exporting them for Unity. Green and grey. Because they need to be in this order in order for the hands to be in front of the face and under the mask and all of that kind of thing. So the layer order is important that it stays that way. Green and grey. And I'll thank myself for that at some point down the line. So, all right. Nigel. Oh, yeah, some of the good ones coming through. Yeah, like surnames as well, I think, might be funny. They don't necessarily, I do like, because the former manager of the branch of Floor for You that we're basing the story on was called Keith Pile, as in shag pile carpet. So we've got a Keith already, so we can't have Keith. And I liked the fact that he was named after a carpet. So those are all like good ideas, like mattress or kneel down or chipboard, any of these things that might be carpet related. So like it could be Norman Underlay or something like that, or Nigel Gripperod perhaps. Yeah, any of those things, suggestions and things like that, you go for them. Right, so we want to keep the shirt, the tank top and all of these things the same. Larry Lino, now you say Larry Lino there, Chris, from YouTube, and we've got Larry the Lino Lizard is already well and truly in place, so we can't have Larry Lino. Oh, actually, that's something I did not on the stream the other day. I went through, and it took quite a while as well, but I did enjoy it. So the shop floor now in Act 1, well, actually, I'll make this full screen. Let's full screen this. So the shop floor in Act 1, I've been saying for ages I need to go through and make all of the hotspots, so that has now happened. So we've got kind of Larry, we've got the lino samples, paperwork on here, the laminate floor, the laminate display, premium carpets, So Soft samples, the rugs, swatch books, runner samples, the front doors. So got absolutely loads of clickable things. I won't click them all because it'll spoil some of the surprises of the dialogue, but yeah, everything is now an often overlooked staple of the floor covering world. The humble rug dates back to 100 BC. Some of these feel like they've been in stock that long. So there's humorous responses to every single one of the items in here as well. So now I've got all of those hotspots and things set up for the Act 1 version of the scene. I've got this prefab here that's got all of the hotspots and markers and interactions that are needed for them, because there's an Act 2 version of this scene that I want to have all exactly the same hotspots in. So once I've drawn all the polygon hotspot areas around all of these little things, all the different areas, then I didn't want to do it all again in another scene, so they get duplicated across for when you're here later on in the game. Right, another aside, I'm never going to colour these arms at this rate. Right, 25 minutes, I'm going to finish at 10 o'clock, we're going to get these arms recoloured for each of the characters. So let's do, we've done 1, let's do 2 next. Why have I called that 2 and that one 3? I've done these the wrong way around, haven't I? 3, 2, 3. Yeah, I've already confused the colours. Nobody on the stream shouted though. It's usually good when someone corrects me before I cock one of these up. Oh, that doesn't matter, does it? I've not done them yet. So he's 3, he's 2. Yeah. No. What am I doing? It's late. I spent last night in a field. Friend's birthday, camping, although I was sleeping in my van. I'm still in a bit of a daze, to be honest. Right. 2 and 3 arms. So I'm dealing with, I'm just trying to keep up with what I'm trying to do. Get rid of that. Let's do number 2, hide his jacket, arms number 2, hide all the others. Yeah, right, we're good to go. So we just need to make these either skin tone or white to go with his shirt. I think the problem with skin tone is they would need to be thinner. And I don't want to redraw all of this stuff. I'd rather just do like a find and replace colour on them. So let's zoom in a bit. Let's just cover that edge of there. Straighten that up. So what I'm going to do is just paint in the bits that I need. It looks like excessive arm hair. It does. Yeah. Just going to make sure that this matches up to his shirt. We're going to do this weird thing again where we make this in a duplicate linked cell. And then do this bizarre thing where it seems you've got to copy and paste them all. It doesn't make any sense. I talked about this at the start of the stream. If anyone watches this back and can explain in the comments what you're meant to do linked cells properly, because doing that, copy, paste, but if you paste it all the way up here, it shows the linked line, but those frames disappear when you come to view it. It doesn't make any sense at all. So any explanation would be good for that. Paste all of them in. So this is just so his shirt stays in place, so I can link his arms up and make sure that when I'm going to change these 2 colours, I'm going to change the light brown to the light grey. I just want to make sure we've not got any, whoops, Windows key instead of the Alt key. I've not got any gaps in this to link up to the shirt. And again, I think we're going to simplify the colours a bit here. I'm going to lock that layer because it's selecting it. So, yeah, I'm not going to put any shading on these. It happens so quickly. Let's just again, I'm simplifying them down to 2 colours, so then I can just do a replace colour on them. His hands are obviously going to need to be changed as well to his skin tone. I might not even do that. It'll be a load of extra faff that. Sure you're not going to notice when it comes to it. These just need to make sure they kind of link up with the arms. This is the same issue I had with in before. You end up with these like fat looking armpits. But again, let's just see how it looks once it's in. They're the same colour. A weird optical illusion there. They look like different colours. Right, that'll all link into them. That'll link into that. Probably going to want to cover that line. Or is it? No. I know some of these frames are exactly the same as the other ones. I should have just, but sometimes it's just easier to draw over them. Next. Yeah, I'm trying to work out which ones need to be paced backwards. It's just faster to step through and add a couple of pixels in here and there. Step next one. It's all a bit messy, isn't it, that one? He's got much thinner arms than the other guy. That's the difference, I think. And because these are all going to be kind of moving roughly the same time, I mean, for comedy effect, I might have them reveal themselves one at a time, but there's going to be kind of a lot going on in this scene. You've just come crashing through the skylight into a ball pool. It's all a bit weird anyway. That I think people aren't really going to be looking really close at this bit of animation. Okay, Chris, thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming along as usual. It is really appreciated. And all your, I can see a big list of names going in there. Chris has put quite a few on there on YouTube. I like Toby Larone. Or Scott Chegg is good. Yes, some good ones there. Yes, anyone else who wants to go and stick some on? Sorry, it's Kyle, not Chris. Have I been calling you Chris? Sorry, what I've not noticed, Kyle, oh Christ, at some point, because you've got the same colour on my stream chat, my apologies. There's Chris, Band Bites Games. There's Kyle, Remote Line. The two premium fans of the channel, by the way, who've been here from the start. You've got the same coloured name on my Streamlabs thing, and I was just glancing across and didn't realise you were both on. Great to have you on, Kyle. Thank you for attending, and thanks for sticking all the comments on there. Right. I'm determined. It's 22. Let's get these recoloured. Let's get his arms done, and then at least we can copy these guys out of here. So I'll delete all of those because they're not used. And all of those because they're not used. It'll just confuse me otherwise. No, I can't do it because they're locked. So we want to recolour these ones, and we're going to try and just do it with replace colour. I don't know, I'm hoping I can select all the frames like that and have them all selected and then go edit, replace colour, and basically change that brown to that white and click apply. And then change that brown to that grey and click apply, and then click OK. Yay, and every frame is done. Lovely. I'm gonna have to sort these armpits though, like that looks ridiculous. So yeah, we're gonna have to change some of the frames from there basically of the shirt. So from that frame where it reveals, yeah, so from here we're going to have to oh god, we're going to have to disable, unlink that frame. Oh god, now it's done something even weirder. So if I copy that Yeah. And this is why I really don't understand what's going on with these continuous frames. So I unlink all of them. Delete all of them. Duplicate a linked cell. Because it only wants to be like that for a bit. Yeah, this is going to be a mess. So this frame, as soon as it gets revealed, it's these underarm bits here that I just need to kind of shave off. So here, all of this needs to be shaved off because they were the front bits of his arms. And I suppose oh, they're on the other layer. So if I duplicate that, duplicate it again, and again, and again, and again. Yeah, no, so it's that one we don't need. We then want to go back to that frame. Yeah, and then that frame for the rest of the animation, right. Okay, so we've still got something weird going on there. That one needs shaved down. Oops, that could do with going as well. It's actually on that layer, isn't it? Yeah, it's just his armpits are looking weird. Right, great, that's his done. Just turn his mask on. Okay, that looks good, like that. So next one, turn off his face, turn on the crazy face, crazy tank top. We need the green arms this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete all of them because I've fixed unlock even, delete all of them. Use the white ones that I've now cleaned up. And then we'll do the replace color method again. So just to go through that, whoops, go through that again. Just lock these two so I don't fuck them up. So select the whole thing by dragging right the way over it. We then want to go edit. So that's got every cell. Then we want to do replace color. We want to change the color from this white to that light green. And click apply. And then we want to change the color from this gray to that dark green. And we click apply. And click OK. Now with this character, because he's at this tank top, there's probably going to be some other edits maybe that we need to do. So let's just check the frames. His arms come up. Yeah, we're going to get that weird armpit thing going on again there. So we're going to need to unlink that frame, delete those frames, and then from here we're going to have to edit these weird armpits out. Okay. And then step through each of these and check. Looks all right. So again, edit bits out. Probably do with some darker shadow under there. Yeah. Next one. Some holes in his arms here. Oh, they're not holes. They are there bits of white from the other one. Because again, I put some shading under his arms after I moved them. So, copy the tank top. Copy the tank top and just check it. Looks all right. Yeah, got a break in his arms there, so I just need to fix that. No, I'm not going to get to see his crazy hair. That's a shame, isn't it? I kind of did talk about that at the start of the stream, and then like I've completely forgotten to make sure that I did that. Because the mask sits on the back of their heads. There's like crazy hairs hidden. What I'm going to do is maybe with that guy, he'll take his off. Maybe take his off with one hand, so then you can see his crazy hair. It'll mean like a bit of custom animation for that guy, but it might be worth it for the effect of seeing his crazy bald head like that. Or maybe with him we can just push the mask behind it. Maybe we could do that with everyone actually. So on that frame, that final frame, let's just try this out. Let's just put a new layer down here and call it mask behind. And these frames, just drag that to there, delete. These are all the same, aren't they? Yeah, it doesn't move at that point. Delete them. Oh dear, this linked cell thing is going to haunt me. Yeah, so up until that point, that frame, it then pops behind his crazy hair. Yeah, which looks fine, I think. And that'll be the same for the other characters as well. It just the mask behind after that frame, it jumps from in front of their face because it has to be a mask, and then it just jumps behind. You don't notice it, and then at least we get to see the detail of his crazy hair. Yeah, that's better. So his last frame. Did I not copy his tank top to the last frame? Strange. I just want to make sure his arms are linked up properly in that, because we've got two dark lines there. So we need two dark lines there. Okay. I feel like we need to fix. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, yeah, it screwed it up again. Don't like these linked layers. So I've just deleted that. They're meant to be instances, and they're just not working in the way that I expect them to work. They're meant to save you having to do lots of different frames, and it just isn't correct. That's fine. Yeah. I think as well, what we should do is put a little blink on these, and again we're going to have this problem where if you unlink these. Oh God, I give up. I just want them unlinked so I can make him blink here. Oh, is it because it's locked? Unlink. So you get a single frame. So like if you'd just taken a mask off, you would kind of blink, wouldn't you? Yeah. And then same with this guy. And this only on this one frame. Give them a little bit of life, like. I can't remember what I did for blinks for him. I think I just darkened out his thing and removed his eyebrows, I think. That's fair enough, that looks good enough. Especially in the split second you'll see it. Right, so that is all 3 of them done. 4 minutes to go. Excellent. So what I want to do just to try out what they're going to look like in the scene, and this is something I said right at the start of the stream, this might mean I need to change the colours of them completely. So you've got this guy, I've already pulled one of them into the soft play area there. And this was just while I was trying to work out whether I was going to do them forward facing or right facing. I was just trying to decide where they were going to sit. So there is that guy, that is kind of how he looks. We're set with that, although he's going to be cut off about there, I would have said, in the ball pool. So you'll, like, the balls will be in front of him like that. So let's see what the other guys look like in there as well. So shirt 2, face 2, and arms 2. Just mask that. Copy merged. Paste them in here. And as I said at the start of the stream, these won't be scaled like this. They'll be scaled by in Unity so that we'll get them pixel perfect. It won't be all jaggy like that. And then the other guy, we'll turn off those 2. We'll turn on 3. Because the position that they stand might, I might decide to change it. Yeah, because I'm not sure about his green. I don't know. He might need to be in the middle. Oh, I didn't paste him on the same bloody layer. Paste him on that layer. Yeah, he's better in the middle. Yeah, it's maybe better that way around. Oh, the main guy could be there and these 2 could be there. Flanked by them. Him slightly further forward, giving the sense that he's the dominant one. It's like a committee. Okay, so yeah, that's all working quite nicely. His crazy hair will be easy to see against the backdrop as well. Let's just unveil them, do the same thing, just copy that. And this is me just giving, I guess, a little bit of a, yeah, I mean, they don't scale properly here, but they'll look much, much cleaner, and they'll be pixel perfect when they come into Unity. So just seeing how all the colours work, really. Sense of like the style of it, I think, and how it's going to look as a kind of lineup of people. So just turn all those ones off. Just get it cleaner. Yeah. So that's looking interesting. I'm not sure which way round yet, but because he's the main guy in the brown jacket, I kind of want this guy at the end of the line because he's like a bit like strange, and he's going to say some stuff that the other two will be like, what? And it might also help that if they can, because I might have to do some side views, so when he says something inappropriate, they both look at him, so they're like, they go, what? Whatever his name's going to be. And possibly turn and look at him, but then it feels like the leader would be in the middle. Yeah, we'll work that out. But I've managed to get those 3 characters done, which is good. I did not expect to get everything done this evening. It is just after 10 o'clock. Right, I think that's probably going to be it for tonight's live stream. Thank you again to everybody who's turned up. We've got new people on Twitch this evening. So Astora Khazar, I think said just Astworks, from on Twitch, and we also had I'm just looking for other Twitch comments tonight. X Purple AK. We had Chris, Bandbites Games on YouTube, and Kyle, who is Remote Lime, and we've had Mike this evening as well. Thanks for tuning in. And anybody else that I've missed, anybody else who's along for the first time. Usually Sunday evenings about 7:30 UK time. Sometimes I can't make that and I do it on a Monday evening or Tuesday evening, but I'll always put a message out on the YouTube community posts at the very least half an hour before, but usually an hour before I'm going to do a stream. So thanks again for all the support. Really, really appreciate it. It's really great having people along for the live streams. It is, it keeps me to task, as well as someone said one week. Feels like you've got to do this because there's people involved, which is great. It really is. So yeah, I will get this posted up onto YouTube. Please stick some comments in about the characters of those guys, or any other comments, questions and things. I'm always looking for ideas for the next live streams. Otherwise I just crack on like this with stuff that needs doing. But if people have got questions, something's come up that you're interested in finding out the answer to, I'll do my best to answer it and do a specific bit on the live stream. Which has actually reminded me, someone put a comment on YouTube the other day and I said, oh, I'll cover that in the next live stream, and I've totally forgotten. It was to do with drawing lights in pixel things. So my apologies to the person on YouTube who asked about that. I will make a note, and next week I will do something about drawing lighting in pixel art. Cool. Thank you very much, everybody. I've enjoyed that. I hope you have too, and I will hopefully see you on the next stream. Check out some of the videos, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps. Cheers. See you later.